MrBeast's friend and YouTube partner, Tyson, was accused of abandoning his 2-year-old son after starting hormone replacement therapy, or HRT, and has since hit back at critics. Chris, who's 26 years old, says he uses any pronouns and stated that he started his life-saving HRT treatment about 2 years ago. He has since faced anti-trans comments, and critics even questioned his parenting abilities. But his friend MrBeast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, has publicly defended him. After YouTuber Sunny V2 made a video titled "Why Chris Will Soon Be a Nightmare for MrBeast," Donaldson posted on Twitter, "Yeah, this is getting absurd. Chris isn't my nightmare. He's my effing friend and things are fine. All this transphobia is starting to piss me off." Now, this backlash began after Tyson changed his Twitter profile picture from one of him and his 2-year-old son Tucker to a sketch of himself with long hair. A Twitter user named Cody reacted to the picture change, saying, "Chris had a perfectly healthy nuclear family, which has been proven to give kids the best outcomes in life. Many studies back this up. But Chris chose, keyword is chose, to sacrifice that to fulfill his selfish, fetish fantasy of being a woman." With his accusations, the man posted pictures of Tyson and his family, wife Katie Tyson and their son Tucker. The man then added, "Chris does love his son, I have no doubts, but his selfish and deviancy took top priority. He even shares pictures of his son in girls' heels. But this isn't grooming, right? He's even pushing his selfish fetish onto his own son." He continued by saying that all of the YouTuber's money would buy him neither happiness nor his son's understanding of why he lost his father and got a second mom. He also demanded the YouTuber accepts himself and takes back his family after claiming Tyson would never be a woman. Tyson defended the picture change and the criticism of him being a father while living as a gender non-conforming person. He reasoned, "I just don't want any more photos of Tucker out there than has to be. I won't let people talk about how I abandoned my child. He is the only priority in my life. I have his love and support, and that is all I need. I'm doing this for him. If that confuses you, educate yourself. If that makes you mad, leave, simple." Despite having faced a lot of criticism since revealing his HRT treatment, Tyson said he was genuinely so glad his announcement helped people to educate themselves on HRT and how it can and has helped so many people. The star, who has appeared in scores of videos alongside YouTubers, biggest star MrBeast, tweeted, "Informed consent HRT saved my and many others' lives. The hurdles gender non-conforming people have to jump through to get life-saving, gender-affirming healthcare in a first world country is wild to me." Now, what I want to talk to you briefly about is HRT and how confusing Chris is currently being to his son. And I know that a lot of people are going to push back on this, but God made male and female. And I don't think his confusion has to do with his selfishness. I really think that this has to do with the mental illness crisis that Chris is suffering from. Now, I say this in love and I say this in compassion. There's a mental illness pandemic that's going around that a lot of people are not trying to address. We're trying to tiptoe between gender affirming medicine and being inclusive compared to the source and the root cause of all of this. See, a lot of people want to be affirming and they have these feelings and emotions, which I get. There's grace for all of that. But let's talk about the true issue. A lot of people are wanting to become their own gods and not submit themselves and their life to Christ. See, when you submit your life to Christ, everything else is taken care of because God created this earth to be in order. God created male and female. And yes, there's a lot of sin out there. We live in a fallen world. But for someone to say that this HRT saved their lives, then that's ludicrous to me, in my opinion. And another thing, let's talk about friends. I understand that MrBeast is backing up his friend, but if MrBeast was a true friend, and I know that MrBeast is not a professing believer in Christ. I know at one point he stated that he went to church growing up. But if he was a professing believer in Christ, he would speak to Chris behind closed doors and tell him right from wrong. And the guy on Twitter who made the statement about confusing his son is absolutely right. Because we want the nucleus of the family to be intact. Because once the household and the family goes astray, all of these symptoms that we are seeing in the world takes place. And again, we live in a fallen world. And I'm not telling you that you should stay in an abusive relationship or marriage. But if you're doing something out of selfish gain and you feel that it's benefiting your son or your kids or your wife who's in the situation, I want you to think again. So I pray for Chris right now that he will come to know who he is in Christ and not be privy to taking these hormone replacement therapy drugs just so he can perceive himself as being a woman and that he can be comfortable in his own skin. See, the reason we're not comfortable in our own skin is because our relationship with Christ is not where it needs to be. Because once our relationship with Christ is where it needs to be, then we'll truly know who we are and we'll know who our identity is with. So let me know your comments. And again, I get that MrBeast is angered by this and he's coming to Chris's defense, but let's keep the main thing, and let's focus on the true root cause of Chris's confusion. So again, let me know your thoughts. Thanks for supporting me. And until next time, be safe and take care. God bless.